This month is ADHD Awareness Month, and today happens to be DLD Awareness Day, Developmental Language Disorder. I made a video on the subject, I'll link it around here. But today, in honor of both ADHD and DLD, I wanted to share with you a practical, very applicable everyday strategy that you can use with your children and also help your older children to adopt themselves to support their language processing, their attention, and to make the abstract world of language a little bit more visual and concrete. So let's get started. I'm going to share with you a little bit on the subject of sketchnoting, which is an idea first created by Mike Rohde. I'll link his website below, and he has a really useful book called The Sketchnote Handbook, which I would heartily recommend. Sketchnoting is a way to make ideas more visual. Mike Rohde first came up with the idea of sketchnoting as a way to make the ideas and concepts being discussed in meetings more visual to support his retention and his attention within a meeting. Since then, sketchnoting has exploded across the globe because so many people have found it a really useful way to support their ability to remember information and attend to something within the moment. The basic premise is that if you are doodling and drawing in a constructive, intentional way, rather than just taking notes by writing through them, then it is easier for you to recall. We think in a visual way. And I've kind of adopted it and used it a lot with my students, both with my young people who I'm helping them to develop more kind of independent strategies for supporting their language processing, auditory memory, and also encouraging parents to use this with their very young children as a super flexible, approachable way to providing visuals to support a child's comprehension and attention. So I'm just going to share with you the 5 basic elements of drawing for sketchnoting that I first came across from Mike Rohde, and share with you a few ways that you might apply this with your very young children and your older children who are becoming more independent in managing their own needs. The 5 basic elements of any simple drawing is a line, a dot, a square, a circle, and a triangle. And I find it really useful to actually lay out these simple elements, both for myself to kind of relieve the pressure of producing a really excellent drawing, and also for children to give them a sense of, oh, it's just as simple as a few shapes. I can put those down on a page and create something that kind of symbolizes a book or a car or a dinosaur or whatever else I want to draw. Mike Rohde encourages us to build up our own visual library, our kind of quick go-to ways that we can doodle and sketch out those everyday things that we might want to draw, depending on what we come across within our everyday lives. And so when I'm talking about this idea with preschool practitioners and with parents and with children, I ask them, what are the things that you do every day? What's part of your everyday routine? And then we can think about how we might draw out some of those things. For me, within my therapy sessions, when I'm doodling little things, the common ones tend to be a bag, a book, a box, a tablet. What else? I'm pretty good now at drawing Mr. Potato Head and Duplo as well. So I will often sketch out simple pictures of everyday objects and activities with a child to give them an idea of what the plan is for our work together, but also to facilitate conversation. And so if we are learning a new word, then I might draw out some pictures for that. If we're practicing new skills, then I will find some way to sketch out what those skills are, whether it's asking for repetition, thinking carefully about our listening skills, looking at the speaker, sitting quietly. All of these things, we can think about how we might sketch them out so that there is that concrete plan in front of me and the child that we can kind of pin our ideas to. The key thing with sketching out ideas in this way and making your conversations as concrete and visual as possible is that there's no kind of perfect way to do this. The main thing is for you and your child to have a piece of paper and a pencil in front of you, or a whiteboard and a rubber, just so that you are in the best position to feel free to scribble and doodle. And over time, as this becomes a natural part of your conversation, you will find your own ways that this really supports your ability to remember what the focus of your conversation is, to follow along, to add to each other's ideas. I would encourage you to play with this idea. How can you make your activities and your conversations with your child a little bit more visuals? And how might having your own visual library of everyday objects projects and activities that you do together support you in this. As always, it's really great to play around and be curious as to how we can help children with their communication in a way that really supports their own interests and goes with the flow of the rest of what you're doing within your everyday lives. Because of course, whatever the two of you are doing together, you're heading in the right direction. You're doing a fantastic job. And every tiny step you take is a step in the right direction. So thank you for doing so much for your little one, and thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time.